Hello, everypony, welcome back. Last we saw of Inverno, Princess Luna had shaken him out of his rather violent dream. And last we saw of Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, they had sent guards to search the entire castle for any more hidden apartments. Let's see what the result of that may be. Please enjoy. Inverno in F minor. Written by Cracked Inkwell. Chapter 13. Secrets in G minor. How many? Cadence asked wearily. The purple crystal guard answered.
As of now, we've uncovered 12 infants, 3 fools, and 13 adults. The cause of death was hypothermia, with all of them.
In the study, the air was poisoned with a feeling of dread. The couple had been woken up an hour earlier than usual when the crystal guards concluded their overnight search of the palace. They were able to find 3 new apartments and the nursery, where they found Pony still chained next to the 12 other cribs. The one other full-grown mare was found in one of the secret apartments with the eldest filly of them all.
Did you at least find out what any of their names were?
Shining inquired, and the guard nodded.
Through a bit of investigating, we have, Your Highness. The 12 infants were named after the 12 months of the year. As for the other 3, the eldest filly was named Mola, that had an obsession with stories. The second oldest was Verno, that had mathematical writings everywhere, and the youngest found in these apartments was a colt, who we guess is a bit older than Inferno, was named Atuno, and he was surrounded by history books when we found him.
So you know these names. How?
There were enough papers with their names in their apartment and on the cribs of their nursery to know what the fools' names were. Unfortunately, we weren't able to identify any of the adults at this time, so as for now, we had the bodies removed and we're in the process of reversing the spells from the rooms as we speak.
Cadence nodded. Thank you for all your hard work. Give all those who were involved in the search party the day off to regain some lost sleep. The guard saluted before exiting the study. Shining lifted a pot of coffee off from the tray that it was prepared earlier, and he sighed.
28 ponies in all. It's good we found Inverno when we did. I don't want to think what would have happened if the guards hadn't stumbled across this room.
Those poor fools. Cadence nodded, taking a mug in her own aura. I can't imagine what it was like for all of them, being cold and in the dark with nothing to eat. And to make matters worse, it's a whole family that was wiped off.
Want some?
Shining asked as he lifted the coffee over to his wife. She took it into her own aura and poured the dark drink into her mug.
Kate, I think we should keep this away from the kid.
How come?
Think about it.
Shining said, staring into the cream and sugar.
At this point, the little guy has it rough as it is. Father dead, being stuck in a freezer for days in the dark, spent some more days in mourning, putting the blame for what happened to the Empire on himself, and the fact that his, family jewels are gone. If he finds this out, he's gonna have a conniption.
The prince took a few gulps from his mug.
I mean, we've just seen what he did to the floor when he got angry about hearing the bad news.
I don't think he's ever mentioned having brothers or sisters. Have you? Cadence inquired as she poured cream into her coffee.
I doubt it. I mean, just think of what he'll do when he finds out that he had a family that his dad never told him about.
They both shivered at the thought, before the princess commented, You know, I can't comprehend why Sombra would do something this horrific. It's really unthinkable for any parent to do anything like this.
Unless you were Sombra. Now that I think about it, I see what his plan was. They intended to create a dynasty from his bloodline, only to make sure that he had control of how his legacy was going to be like. He had to be carefully controlled from every child. That way, perhaps, he was trying to prevent any conflict among his foes without realizing that they had siblings to fight with. But I guess that he had a plan that if he dies too soon, so does everyone else, so maybe they won't have to suffer the aftermath.
Still no excuse to do something so cruel, Cadence muttered. But we're going to talk to him about this, aren't we? I mean, with something as big as this, we can't hide it forever. Eventually, he's going to find out.
As long as it isn't now.
Shining clarified.
Later, maybe. But now is just bad timing.
The two of them just sipped their coffee for a moment, both of them trying to figure out what to say next to break the quiet morning silence. Cadence was the first to speak up. Shining. Since we're alone, I want to tell you that I've been thinking about something. Shining looked up from his mug.
Thinking about what? The kid?
Yes and no. Shining, how do you view Inverno? The prince raised an eyebrow.
Well, kind of torn to be honest. On the one hand, I kind of feel a bit sorry for him considering what's been happening lately. Yet on the other, as okay as he is, I still kind of get an eerie vibe off of him.
It's because of his resemblance? Cadence asked, putting her mug down.
That's one reason. His eyes alone remind me of him. The other being that he uses dark magic when he gets mad. I mean, sure, his dad used fear, but how do you deal with somebody who gets his power from his own anger?
Perhaps through music. Maybe there is some truth to the saying, music soothes the savage beast. As cliche as it may sound, it could work literally for him. The pink alicorn suggested, and Shining chuckled.
Maybe when he goes on a wrathful rampage, somebody should play a bit of Mozart to calm him down.
Perhaps it could actually work.
You really want to risk that? Get him angry and then have somebody play some calming music if he doesn't turn someone into ground pony?
Cadence paused. Point taken, I guess. Say, hun, when do you think Inverno's teachers will arrive? Shining shrugged.
I can't really say. I haven't heard a word from the princess yet. Have you?
She shook her head. The same, but it does make me curious as to who's going to be teaching him.
More importantly, how do you teach him? After all, he's basically spent his life in a room for a little over 1,000 years with nothing but his dad, organ and a slave that's never spoken to him to keep him company.
Shining pointed out, and Cadence smiled. Knowing my Auntie Celestia, she would know best in hoof-picking the best teachers to fit her students' needs. After all, she and I taught Twily, didn't we? This was Chapter 13, Secrets in G Minor, from Inverno in F Minor by Cracked Inkwell. Every pony. This is awful. Why would Sombra do this? I mean, Shining did allude to a theory during this chapter, but that is still a pretty big question as to why Sombra would have so many offspring, yet kill them all should he meet his end, and also keep them apart. I guess the issue of succession would be a rather big issue should all of the children have known about each other, even if the oldest was next in line and rightful heir. The others, as they grew up, would have become more cunning to get rid of the next in line until possibly only one of them was left. And as we know, Inverno was the lucky one to be found before it was too late. Every pony, this marks the end of Act 1, and Act 2 will be starting as soon as the next chapter is available, which is now in the works. I thank you all for your patience, and do hope that you look forward to what is next to come.